In the many, many years I lived in that old house, I've never had trick-or-treaters. Even when my lights were on, they would always look at my house and walk away. I'm not surprised. I did buy this house many years ago in the same condition it was today. Strangely enough, it never changed. Never got better, never got worse. Of course, there was one trick-or-treater that always came to my door. She was rather short and always wore the same costume, a princess costume. Even when I didn't have my porch light on, she would always walk up to my door, a giant bag in both hands, and knock 3 times, and waited. Every year I would always answer the door, and she'd look up and smile and say, "Trick or treat." I'd give her a mini chocolate bar, like always, and she'd say, "Thank you," and run off. This happened every year. Sometimes I would estimate it right as she walked through the door, although that would be kind of weird. So I'd always waited until she knocked 3 times. One year I decided to ask why she always walks up to my door, even when the lights are not on. But before I did that, I glanced at the clock, then went to the door. I handed her a candy bar and then knelt down. "Little girl, why do you always come to my house every year when my lights are not on?" She smiled and said, "Thank you," turned around and walked off. I noticed a pattern emerging. She would always walk up to the door, knock 3 times, and waited. I would always answer it right away, but this time I decided to look at the clock. Midnight. Like the Halloween before this and before that. I went to the door at 12:01, but she was gone. I felt bad. She must have thought of me as an old lonely man who just needed a friend. Next Halloween, I waited for her, my eyes on the clock. When 12 o'clock came around, I grabbed 2 pieces of candy and went to the door. I waited for the 3 knocks. They didn't come. Strangely enough, I opened it anyways. I was greeted by nothing. Sadly, I looked down and found a mini chocolate bar. To this day, I've never opened it. The next day, my dog passed it. So I went to the backyard and dug a hole for my companion. When I hit something rather old, and it didn't feel like dirt, that's for sure. I uncovered a very old crate. I opened it with the end of my shovel and pried it open. To this day, I'll never forget what I found. It was the skeleton of a child wearing a princess dress. So the next time you get a recurring trick-or-treater, there could be something more to it than you might think. Happy Halloween!